body on the beach. The morning of December 1st, 1948, dawned clear and mild over Adelaide, Australia. The war had been over for 3 years, and the world was cautiously rebuilding. As beachgoers began to arrive at Somerton Beach, a popular stretch of coastline just south of the city, John Lyons and his wife noticed something unusual. A man was lying against the seawall, his head propped against the concrete, legs extended toward the water. He appeared to be sleeping, perhaps enjoying the morning sun. As the hours passed and the man remained motionless, curiosity turned to concern. At 6:30 a.m., John Bain Lyons approached the figure and attempted to rouse him. There was no response. The man's body was stiff, his skin cool to the touch. Death had claimed him hours earlier, though his expression remained peaceful, almost deliberately composed. This unremarkable discovery would soon spiral into one of the most perplexing mysteries in criminal history, a case that remains unsolved to this day, despite decades of investigation, scientific advancement, and relentless public fascination. The police arrived promptly. Detective Sergeant Lionel Lean surveyed the scene with measured professionalism, noting everything seemed oddly pristine. The man was impeccably dressed in a white shirt, red tie, brown trousers, socks, shoes, and a fashionable double-breasted jacket, unusual attire for a beach outing. His shoes were perfectly polished, almost as though he had never walked in them. Despite the summer weather, he wore several layers of clothing. More curious still, his pockets contained curious items, but nothing that could identify him. An unused train ticket from Adelaide to Henley Beach, a bus ticket, an American aluminum comb, a half-empty pack of juicy fruit chewing gum, cigarettes, and matches. What his pockets did not contain was perhaps more telling. No wallet, no money, no identification of any kind. Even more bizarre, all labels had been meticulously removed from his clothing, as though someone had deliberately obscured his identity. His face bore no signs of distress or pain, merely the serene look of someone who had peacefully drifted to sleep. When pathologist John Bennett Cleland examined the body, the mystery only deepened. The man appeared to be between 40 and 45 years old, in excellent physical condition, with broad shoulders and well-manicured hands that suggested he had never engaged in manual labor. His features were striking: prominent cheekbones, deep-set eyes, and unusually pointed canine teeth. Most peculiarly, his toes were wedged, a condition where the middle toes are abnormally close together, suggesting the habitual wearing of ballet or dancing shoes. Despite his perfect physique, the man's organs revealed significant congestion, particularly in the stomach. His spleen was 3 times the normal size, and his liver was distended with blood. The pathologist detected traces of an unidentified substance in his system, yet toxicology tests proved inconclusive with the technology available in 1948. The cause of death remained elusive, though many experts suspected poisoning, specifically a rare and undetectable poison that left no trace except the telltale signs of organ distress. The investigation deepens. As news of the mysterious death circulated through Adelaide, investigators continued their meticulous work. Every aspect of the case seemed calculated to confound. Who was this man? Why would someone remove identifying markers from his clothing? If this was a suicide, why choose such a public location? If murder, how was the poison administered, and why leave the body in plain sight? For weeks, the body remained unclaimed despite widespread publicity. Investigators distributed photographs of the deceased across Australia and internationally, yet no one came forward to identify him. It was as though he had materialized from nowhere, a ghost made flesh for the sole purpose of creating an enduring enigma. Nearly a month after the body's discovery, police found a brown suitcase at Adelaide railway station that had been checked into the luggage office on November 30, the day before the man's death. Inside were clothes with the labels similarly removed, a stenciling brush set, a table knife with the handle sawed down, and a pair of scissors. A laundry bag marked T. Keane was among the items, but extensive searches found no missing persons matching this name. Was it a deliberate red herring? The methodical removal of labels suggested premeditation, but to what end? The suitcase added layers to the mystery without providing clarity. The case took an even more bewildering turn in January 1949, when investigators revisiting the man's clothing discovered something previously overlooked: a tiny pocket sewn into the waistband of his trousers. Inside was a tightly rolled piece of paper printed with the words Tamám Shud. Experts identified this as Persian for finished or ended, a phrase that appears as the final line in the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poems popular in the West. The slip had been carefully torn from the final page of a specific edition of the book. Police launched a public campaign to locate this particular copy, theorizing it might contain additional clues to the man's identity or the circumstances of his death. The Rubaiyat and the Code. In July 1949, the investigation experienced a remarkable breakthrough when a local man came forward with an extraordinary story. He had found a copy of the Rubaiyat in the back seat of his unlocked car, which had been parked near Somerton Beach around the time of the man's death. When detectives examined the book, they confirmed the back page had been torn in a pattern that matched perfectly with the Tamám Shud slip found in the dead man's pocket. But what they discovered inscribed inside the back cover sent the investigation spiraling into even more mysterious territory. A handwritten series of seemingly random letters, Boar Geo Aoi Moao Butu Baiaqc At. Was this a code? A cipher? Initials? For decades, cryptographers, intelligence agencies, and amateur sleuths have attempted to decipher these letters, yet no consensus interpretation has emerged. Some believe it represents a one-time pad cipher used by intelligence operatives. Others suggest it may be the first letters of words in a message, perhaps a suicide note or final communication. The letters have been submitted to military intelligence, university mathematicians, and even NASA scientists over the years, yet they have steadfastly resisted decryption. The book also contained a local telephone number, scrawled in pencil on the same back cover, which would lead investigators down yet another tantalizing path. The woman who knew too little or too much. The phone number belonged to a nurse named Jessica Ellen Thompson, referred to in police reports by the pseudonym Jestin to protect her privacy, who lived less than a mile from where the body was discovered. When detectives questioned her, she denied any knowledge of the man or why her number would be in his possession. However, when shown a plaster bust of the deceased, witnesses reported that Thompson appeared visibly shocked, as though seeing a ghost, but maintained she did not recognize him. She admitted to having given a copy of the Rubaiyat to an army officer named Alfred Boxall during World War II, but Boxall was soon located alive and well, still possessing the copy she had given him, complete with an inscription from the nurse. Thompson's reaction raised suspicions that she knew more than she admitted. Some investigators believed she recognized the dead man, but had reasons to deny the connection. Perhaps most tantalizingly, when shown the indecipherable code from the back of the book, she reportedly provided no comment, not even a hint of surprise at this bizarre development. Years later, her daughter came forward suggesting that her mother had indeed known the Somerton Man, but had taken whatever secrets she possessed to her grave in 2007. Adding further intrigue, this daughter believed she might be the Somerton Man's daughter, citing physical similarities, including the uncommon dental and ear features that had distinguished the mystery man. Cold War theories and legacy. The timing of the case at the dawn of the Cold War spawned theories that the Somerton Man might have been a spy. The mysterious code, the undetectable poison, the deliberate removal of identification, and the proximity to sensitive military installations all fueled speculation of espionage. Australia's Woomera Rocket Range, located in South Australia, was engaged in top-secret British missile testing at the time. Was the Somerton Man a Soviet agent who had obtained classified information? An American or British operative who had been eliminated? Or perhaps a scientist involved in weapons development who had become a liability? Other theories are more prosaic, yet equally compelling. Some believe he was involved in black market activities in post-war Australia, where rationing and shortages created lucrative criminal opportunities. Others suggest he was simply a heartbroken man who had traveled to Adelaide to see a former lover, possibly Jessica Thompson, only to take his own life when the reunion proved impossible. The perfectly composed posture of his body, the finished message, and the peaceful expression would align with a planned suicide. In 2021, after decades of legal barriers, the Somerton Man's body was exhumed for modern DNA analysis. While results have been inconclusive, researchers continue to apply cutting-edge techniques in hopes of finally identifying him. His case has inspired novels, films, television episodes, podcasts, and countless amateur investigations. The mystery endures because it contains all the elements of a perfect puzzle: strange clues, possible romance, hints of international intrigue, and an ending that remains stubbornly out of reach. The enduring mystery. As daylight faded over Somerton Beach on that December evening in 1948, no one could have imagined that the man resting against the seawall would become one of Australia's most enduring mysteries, a case that would confound police, fascinate the public, and remain unsolved for generations. The Somerton Man lies now in West Terrace Cemetery in Adelaide, his headstone reading simply, "The Unknown Man." Yet his legacy lives on in the minds of those captivated by his story, a reminder that even in our modern world of surveillance and digital footprints, perfect mysteries can still exist, waiting patiently for someone clever enough to finally unravel their secrets.